What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2 and my new player series of a fresh start in 2023-2024. So you did it. You just killed Betsy, and you have completed the base campaign. So you're going to come back to Tavern. At this stage in the game, I played through the campaign on hard mode. You can go on any difficulty. It's not that huge of a difference, but I finished the campaign at level 31. I've got 268,000 gold and 533 defender medals. Now, one thing you do get from that Betsy map is your very first pet. This particular pet, it's kind of RNG. It doesn't matter what you get, really. However, the pie in the sky would be to get a pet with earth damage on it. Let's see what we get here. And we got it. We got a pet with earth damage. Very, very nice. And it rolled with hero damage and hero health too. So not terrible there. So that we're going to equip on my active DPS character. Oh, it went into my shinies tab. All right, so we've got us a pet now with earth damage on it. So that is a very, very nice head start. Now, before we move any further, I know there's going to be a lot of questions about the Wyvern's Den, as it seems like sometimes folks will get caught on that one. So let's just take a quick peek at it. All right, so this map will throw some people off. I can show you all what I did. As I mentioned, I just spammed auras through the entirety of the campaign down to a wall. Now, you see these curses on the ground. The curses on the ground, they're going to start off right underneath the eggs. Throughout the map, throughout the run, these curses are going to be placed each wave, and they're going to be placed in random spots. So, like, when I built the map, I did something like this-ish. Like, I put a wall here, and then I just spammed flame auras as much as I could all the way up. And then back at the wall, I put in a lightning strike aura, and then where I could, I spammed those all the way up as well. Now, this is what I did in every lane. Now, the key with that is when you do get a curse in that particular lane, just move the stuff. So, as you see, I got curses here on my aura stack. Just get rid of these auras. You're going to see the smoke coming off of them and see that they're cursed. Reposition your stuff somewhere. It doesn't matter where. Just get it out of the curse zone. Now, in addition to that, for DPSing the boss, Betsy's going to go in several cycles. She's going to land on the platform up top, and then she's going to take flight. You can prepare ahead for her taking flight. She takes one of two different flight paths, basically, and it involves a fly around without coming up to the backside, and it involves a fly around with coming up over here to the backside. When she comes to this back portion of the map, she's very susceptible to defenses. So if you have the leftover DU, because there is so many defense units available on this map, right as you're getting up to the fight, you can just spam a bunch of Skyguard towers right across the back here. And that is going to just instant drop Betsy when she gets down into that stage where she flies up from behind there. Now, after you get your Betsy win, you get your pet. Throughout the course of the campaign, you have been getting these shards. Now, before we get into shards at all, I just want to kind of go through what I would do in the course of a run. So basically, at the end of each map, I would look for upgrades. First off, on my relics to see if there's something good in relics. Of course, a medallion goes on defenses that do damage, and a totem goes on defenses that are walls. So, like for my squire with the spike blockade, I used this totem. For all of my DPS, we had the Skyguard tower. I used that medallion. This lightning strikes aura, I used this medallion. Now, you see on here this mod invalid for tower. At this state in the game, just ignore mods. Now, I say that very loosely, as obviously if you get a positive mod, you want to, use something with some kind of positive effect. However, don't sweat it if it doesn't have it. If it's it's a higher quality medallion with like more defense power in this situation, just use it. So like this one's at 1400 defense power, that one's at 2000. So once again, it's got another element on it that would not be worth using, or that would not do anything for that particular defense. But just don't sweat that. Make sure that you prioritize using the higher quality medallion over any sort of mods that are on the item. Now, as I mentioned, with that in mind, you're going to see some mods that are positive mods. So I wouldn't necessarily prioritize a lower quality piece over a decent mod that's on an item at this stage in the game. However, I'm not going to ignore something good either. Now, one of the particular mods that has a incredibly good effect early in the game, and an effect that kind of tapers off the further you get in the game, is any sort of boom servo. You see here I've got an orc boom servo. I was using this orc boom on my flame auras. I'm going to instant go ahead and replace that, as that's just a better piece. And then after I get my damaging defenses dialed in, let's see, 1700. Yeah, we'll just keep that one there. Then I want to look at the hero. Now, you've got this auto-equip gear button. Now, this auto-equip relics button, never hit this, y'all. It's just not going to pick the right stuff for you. So hand place your relics for your defenses. It's just the way to go. Now, the auto-equip gear button, however, will equip your highest item power gear in each of your armor and weapon slots. This is something that's a very useful tool a little bit later in the game once we get into expeditions. For right now, you do want to be cautious of it, as you want the substat on gear to be something that's going to benefit how you play. Now, in this case, every single item just happened to roll hero health, so now I've got an apprentice that's just an absolute tank. You see the monk with no gear on with 414 health. My apprentice rocking 2300. This apprentice is just an absolute beast. Now, basically, what you're shooting for here is you want the hero damage stat if you like using mainly primary attacks. So, like on your armor pieces, that one's ability power. There's a hero damage. You would want armor pieces with hero damage on it. Now, if you like focusing more on the abilities, then of course you would have ability power. So say you liked marking targets and then, launching on them, you would want to stack more ability power to help with that. Now, what I mentioned about wanting an earth pet, you actually are not going to realize yet, as you got to level up your pet a little bit. So we're not going to get into that right now. We will just move on with it. Now, we have completed our first major milestone in the new player quest line, and it is quite rewarding. Before we get to that, however, throughout the campaign, you have been finding shards. Shards are what you want to pay attention to. They are the building blocks of the game. You will find an awful lot of complete junk shards. There's just going to be a ton of them. So, like in this campaign shard, I got a fortification. Well, that's not necessarily a terrible shard, but I do already have one. I think I'll save this one in case I ever want to use arcane barriers, though. So I'm just going to go ahead and equip it on that hero just to get it out of my inventory, but I can still save it for later. Now, you can take a look at what shards you get per tier over here at the shard vendors. You see here, they're divided by a standard. That's the campaign shard packs, Chaos 1, Chaos 2, Chaos 3, and so on. So if we look through the campaign shard packs, really the largest quality of life shard here is, without a question, speed boost. I didn't get a single speed boost, which definitely sucks. Speed boost is just massive, massive quality of life. Move faster, good stuff. However, there are lots of good shards throughout the pool. There's hero-specific shards if you have another hero unlocked, which those are a little irritating to get. But you've got things like construction, increases your repair and upgrade speed during combat phase. this is actually kind of huge early in the game because you will be playing Wall Repair Simulator for a little while as you're climbing up. What I mean by that is you've got your defenses pounding away and you just are spamming repair into a wall to keep it alive while enemies smash on top of it. So construction becomes very, very powerful in that situation. You've also got like drenching strikes, which can be used on any hero in a weapon slot. If you're shooting a lot of primary attacks, this is going to drench enemies, which is going to apply that water element. That combined with like if you're using a lightning strike aura, the electric damage there is going to give you the shock combo. So you're going to get that electrocute combo going if you get a drenching strikes. You've got, defense crit damage, which is kind of a no-brainer. More damage good, right? Let's see, what else do we have? The speed boost I already talked about. A lot of other hero-specific things. And then you got things like Worm Scarf, reduces the damage you take from enemies by 3%. That's a shard that you could potentially be using at very, very end game. So, good stuff to be had even at campaign. Now, I personally do not suggest grinding campaign maps for shards. You can, and they will benefit you, but you don't need to if you don't want to. So the thing that I suggest from this point is following, once again, the new player quest line. You see, we have got a turn-in over here at the Dragonfall Savior. So we open our quest menu, and it just says report back to the Knight Commander. It's given us that direction of the Knight Commander. We're going to come back over here and talk to him, and boom, we just got another fortification shard, which we already had the one, or two, actually. And we're going to get a little dialogue with the Knight Commander. Now, in addition to this, we just completed the Dragonfall Savior portion of the quest, which is a big milestone portion. Now, this gave us 1,000 Defender medals, y'all. We got 1,500 Defender medals now, and it gave us a nice chunk of gold as well. But we just want to continue on with what the quest giver is telling us to do. So let's just go ahead and follow along here. First off, it's saying to come over and talk to the pets. So we'll go through the dialogue here at the veterinarian, and this is where you're going to hatch your eggs and upgrade your pets, etc. You just got another huge chunk for completing that. So just jump through the hoops, y'all. It's very, very rewarding. That was another 50 Defender medals just for running over and looking at the dialogue on the pet vendors there. All right, now we've got Dragonfall Adventurer, which is the next portion of the quest, major quest line. It's going to give us a nice big reward, 300,000 gold, a Chaos 1 Destruction Shard, which I'll get into, as that is, without question, one of the most powerful shards in the game. It's very, very important to get this for doing adventure mode, but additionally, 1,500 Defender medals. Now, lots of people criticize me all the time for telling people to spend their Defender medals, but I'm going to say it again. If your priority is getting through the early game, saving up for a new hero is not what's going to get you there faster. Now, will that be the most fun way? Yeah, that's possible. And if that's what you want to do, yeah, that's fantastic too. Save your Defender medals up. However, if you want a ridiculous head start through the rest of the difficulty of the game, really, in full, come back over to the Shard Shop. Now, without a doubt, one of the most important things for any defense in the game is your defense rate. With that in mind, you're not going to get the defense rate shard until you get to Chaos 4. However, at any stage, you can buy this with 1,000 Defender medals or 250 gems, and I am going to go ahead and pick one up. The reason being is that shard is just enormous. In addition to that, I'm going to open up the interface, I'm going to spend 200,000 on my gold, and I'm going to get that upgraded. Now, I just gave myself the most massive leap in power you could possibly imagine for jumping in and doing these adventure modes. Now, of course, I've been focusing very heavily on the Flame Aura. If we take a look here at my Flame Aura with what I've been using, it's doing 371 DPS. It's damn near trashed here. Now, after we pop that on and come take a look at our Flame Aura again, we're now doing 553 DPS. So we got a huge jump on our damage output in the Flame Aura. And since we're using the Flame Aura so regularly, that just gave us a big jump forward. Now, when looking at the shards in the game, there's the building blocks of the entirety of the game. It's all about your defenses, y'all. This is a tower defense game. There is a focus on heroes later in the game. However, the base progress can be 100% completed just by focusing on the tower defense element. With that in mind, in Chaos 1, we're going to be getting the Destruction Shard. Now, we're going to get one of these for free, we know, from completing adventure modes. So we're going to get one there. However, Destruction is extremely powerful. It's a raw damage increase. Then in Chaos 3, you get Deadly Strikes. Deadly Strikes increases the defense range of the affected tower. More power, more rate, more range. Not in that order. It would be rate, then power, then range. In that order. However, since rate is number 1, of course, we went on ahead and we bought that defense rate shard with our defender medals. And now we are good to go. We're ready to hop on in and blaze through adventure mode, as that is up next. Now, in addition to the large reward you get for completing these 12 maps, it's also a really good way to kind of learn some of the base, like, puzzle aspects of the game that you're going to see later on in incursion mode. But now we would want to head over to adventures, and we want to start off at the beginning, the Kobold Bling King area, and knock that out. Now, another important thing to note is by clearing the first 3 zones of adventure mode, you're going to get 150 gems for completing each zone. So this is the premium currency. So you're going to get 450 gems total by doing these as well, in addition to the reward that you're getting from the new player quest. Now, one other thing I got to mention, as you see it up here, we now have a weekly mission available, which is at the very top, and we now have daily missions down below. These particular missions, the daily mission, you can re-roll once per day if you don't like the mission. Now, I mean, this one, I don't really mind that one, but I'm going to go ahead and re-roll it anyway. Okay, we got a worse one, win 2 maps. I should have stayed with the first one. Daily missions are very important as well, as they are going to give you a nice chunk of Defender Pass XP, which is what we see on the left, and Defender Medals. This is a bump every day that doesn't count the huge reward you can get from a weekly as well. Now, win 20 incursion maps. Are we going to be at incursions by then? I'm not really sure. So I might not complete the weekly on this one, but the dailies will without a doubt just be a no-brainer. But next up, it's time to move on into adventures. So I will leave off here, but that is going to get it for me for this episode. So thanks so much for watching. As I play through this 2024 series in the end of 2023, if there are any changes that come in 2024 to how you would approach each one of these individual challenges, I will pin a comment down below. But that will do it for now. Thanks an absolute ton, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.